Hello everybody, this is Purge, bringing you a first-person gameplay, or sorry, what am I calling? Replay commentary? First-person game replay commentary? That's what it's called, okay. I played this game last night. It is a Nature's Prophet game. I personally don't feel that good at Nature's Prophet. This is the Pure and Flax replay, or announcer, by the way. I don't think I've made any videos with it yet, but if you guys are interested in purchasing it, you can. It's on the store, it's $10, you get an announcer pack and a mega kill, so you can get a little bit of a taste from it in this game here. Okay, so back to the game. I'm playing Nature's Prophet this game. Nature's Prophet is in my top 10 most played heroes, but he is definitely not one of my top 10 best heroes. I do not feel comfortable with him. He has a very weird playstyle compared to a lot of other heroes, and I'll just talk about the intricacies of him that make him so different than others. This game, I'll talk about the end build later. Okay, a little bit about Nature's Prophet. If you guys don't know how he works, he has huge potential, and has very different strengths than a lot of other heroes. I played him a little different than is the common metagame right now with Nature's Prophet, but I felt like trying this build out, and it actually ended up working out quite nice. This is the international. What is it called? The HUD. So this is my HUD, and then here's my Pure and Flax announcers. If you guys are looking into those, you get this HUD if you buy the compendium, by the way. So if you really like this HUD and you don't have the compendium, go buy it. Okay, so Nature's Prophet. His most game-breaking skill in a way is teleportation. It has a cooldown, and you have a couple seconds to teleport anywhere on the map. This is anywhere. So this has obvious huge implications because you can be at any gank, you can be at any team fight, assuming you're not off of, assuming you haven't TP'd somewhere else recently. It also gives them really good split push potential as well. If somebody doesn't have a stun, you can easily teleport away, for example. So a little bit about the hero. Other than that, we have Nature's Call. This is pretty much bread and butter skill. You can summon Treants. I sent them to each rune spot to start the game off so we know where the rune is. And this allows you to actually jungle and offlane pretty well. There's the Elgato Courier as well. I don't know if it's on sale yet, but this is LD's Elgato Courier that he just dropped last night while we started playing. So yeah, Nature's attendants are pretty good. They have pretty low armor now, and I think their magic resistance was lowered, if I'm not mistaken. I think their magic resistance was actually removed because Nature's Prophet was seen as a little bit too good lately. But other than that, he also has Sprout. Sprout makes a tree line around your opponents, holding them in place for a couple seconds. Usually you don't level this ability up very much because a good player has a Blink or a Quelling Blade or a Tango, and they'll be able to escape from that. But at lower levels, you could pretty much think of Sprout as a stun because a low-level player is almost never going to use a Tango to get out. So keep that in mind, guys. If you get a Quelling Blade or a Tango and you Sprout somebody in, they can pretty easily just use a Tango on one of the trees. It'll make an opening and they'll be able to escape. So it kind of makes Sprout crappy, which is one of the main reasons why it's not leveled up. But late game, I did end up leveling it up because you can use it to counter people in some ways, depending on the hero. So when you start jungling with Prophet, you almost always want to go to the small camp first, as far as I know. The reason I felt like doing this is because small camp's pretty easy to kill. Make sure that you always spawn the Treants as the game starts in your base. If you go to the lane here and then spawn, I would have 2 Treants and I would have this much mana, this exact same amount of mana, and that is not very constructive. I don't know why I really felt like doing this, but I felt like stacking this large camp. I actually have no way of killing that camp at all right now, and it's going to be quite a while. You'll see me screw up on it later, but I popped a Clarity Potion. I wanted to back my Treants out while the creeps were respawning, and I also was playing really safe here because I didn't want to get my Clarity disabled, but so basically, stacking the large camp could mean that we could farm it later. We don't really have the best heroes for farming it, so it wasn't really that worth it to do that, I don't think. Unless we had like a Chen or an Enchantress, I think that was maybe a mistake. But yeah, you can kill a small camp pretty easily. I pick up a fast level 2 that'll give me teleportation. And now I'm going to keep an eye on some of the other lanes and look to possibly gank and team fight and stuff. I believe I tried to kill this troll camp right now. Big mistake. The way that troll camps work is they do piercing damage, and Treants actually have unarmored armor type, and what that means is they actually have the same armor type as lane creeps, and piercing damage does like a crap load of extra damage to lane creeps, and that is why my Treants are getting absolutely slaughtered right now. So trying to fight the troll camp with anything less than like 3 or 4 Treants I think was a big mistake, because I barely did damage to these guys. If I would have gone to the Centaurs instead over here, or even the Elf Wolves, I would have been able to continue my jungling, and since I did end up doing that, it burns not only a lot of my mana, but also my Treants for like 10 seconds. So again, I almost never play Nature's Prophet. That's kind of a lie because he's one of my top 10 most played heroes, but I've only played him like 30 games of my 1500 or something like that, so it's really not that much. But I don't practice him enough, and I'm trying to get a little bit better at him. So, also they got really lucky and crit me twice. I was really mad about that because then I like took a bunch of damage. Anyways, my goal here was to pull through. I didn't want to like push the lane or anything, but I also didn't have treants for a bit, so I wanted to make sure that I didn't mess this up. And I think the HP requirement is about 600, and I think I ended up pulling this one a little bit early because one of those creeps died pretty fast, so reduced the DPS. So I was trying to like kill these really quick, and unfortunately I missed it, so the pull through didn't happen, unfortunately. Usually you get a second level of treants right now. This does delay your TP possibilities. You can get a level of Sprout here if you're interested in it. But I was feeling pretty comfortable with getting more treants right now. I maybe should have because we could have probably ganked bot. Like right now, this lone druid should be dead basically. I don't think he should be alive because we have a Phantom Lancer, and if Coddle would have comboed with that, I could have just TP'd on it immediately. And I'm like telling them to go on it. I'm like, come on, go, go, go. And that was right there. The Coddle should be charging up, hey, right then. So, unfortunately, I don't have Sprout. If I had Sprout, I maybe could have set him up, but we needed that blast to hit, and they didn't combo that, so that was a mistake from the Keeper of the Light, that we should have gotten that kill easily. There's no way that a Lone Druid should be able to get EXP in this lane, so... now he kind of knows that I'm sitting over here. I'm going to take one of the lane creeps, I guess, which is actually going to end up pushing the lane, but... should have been a kill that we had, unfortunately, but we didn't. So I went no Tailspin first because I'm going Dagon. I kind of felt like messing around with this build because I think it's cool. I don't necessarily think it's amazing or good. I'm going to kill the large troll now because I think I can kill him. And there we go. Okay, cool. So now they killed the big guy. They'll do a lot less damage, but my HP is a little low as well. We did spot a rune on the bot lane, so I was going to go pick it up since it's a DD. That's going to increase my jungling speed by a decent amount. Double damage at this point is great, so I'll grab Sprout now. So I can do a TP kill right now. That's first blood on the top lane. That's Blitz, by the way, playing the Broodmother this game. Pretty low Lone Druid once again. I'm microing the treants a little bit. I do want to keep them all alive if possible. They look weak, but honestly they do a pretty large amount of damage. It's kind of nice to have them alive. The DPS will help me gain gold and experience faster.
Top thing is about to get knocked over. Dire's bottom tower is
the main reason that Dagon isn't very good on Nature's Prophet is it doesn't exactly set you up for the best late game, basically. Because like Dagon's really good when you pick it up, but after you pick it up, it starts to really decrease in efficiency. That's LD, by the way, if you guys are curious. So it like really limits your late game potential. Maybe not limits, but an item like a Midas is usually better. I don't remember if I tried to kill those, but I saw the double Earths and I was like, not happening. That's because if there's 3 or more units, they'll clap, and since I had 3 treants, they would get double clapped, and they would just pretty much die immediately. So I was like, okay, time to go heal. At some point, you do have to go heal. I could teleport back for this, but if I teleport back, then I can't teleport aggressively, so that deny hurts a bit. If they wouldn't have denied me, it would have gotten me to my Dagon a little bit faster. But I'm going to spawn treants again. I'm going to send them to the jungle in case that I want to jungle with them. And I'm kind of looking for a TP gank right now. I decided to TP the mid lane because I didn't want to walk all the way back. I already spawned my treants in base, so when they get here, I should be able to jungle with them. And did I block small camp? No, I didn't, thank God. I think I was looking for kills. Or possible TP opportunities. I don't know why I started attacking that. I should have been on the small camp this whole time here. It's like Storm Spirit gets picked up by Slark. It's like I could have TP'd on that. Okay, I went for the Ursus. I could have done the small camp or this. This works as well, though. I should be able to spawn more trees. And we will pick this bro off. But, I don't know, like, a lot of profits right now, the typical skill build, or the typical item build they go, the skill build is pretty much the same. The typical item build that they go is Midas. They go Midas first, always. Midas really accelerates your EXP, it gets you more levels of teleport, it gets you more levels of Wrath of Nature a little bit faster. I was considering going on this. But most importantly, it also gives you a lot of gold and helps you carry into the late game. And generally, the best way to play Prophet is with very patient play. You only TP to kills that are going to get you kills and not get you killed, for example. So that you basically snowball. Like, you have such an amazing decision-making system. You can globally teleport, for God's sake, so you can go pretty much anywhere you want. You can jungle pretty much anywhere you want, so with that in place, like it just makes you so effective.
Top tower has been denied.
Oh, I kind of wanted to TP onto that guy, but unfortunately, I didn't think it was gonna be a good choice. I just now pick up my level 6 in a second here, so picking up level 6 pretty important. I wish those trees were cleared as well with my ult or with my passive. God, I really wanted this guy to go on this guy. I was like, come on, man. I was like, come on. I was like, come on. You got it, PL, you got it. Alright, there's the Sprout gank. Sick TP, right? Nope, didn't even need the TP. Alright, so we got him. So that is a dead Keeper of the Light. Getting the assist helps. It will get me to my item a little faster. Looks like Slark's gonna live.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Still don't have a Dagon yet. I think my Dagon's a little slow. I'm not the fastest jungler. I'm not entirely sure. I feel like I need to watch some replays of a really talented Prophet player that ends up jungling instead of offlaning to see what I'm doing incorrectly, but I know I'm going a little slow. Grabbing the Staff of Wizardry and the Null Talisman actually do increase my damage by a lot, because that increases my damage by like 19, so my right-clicking speed and damage is not bad, and that's not the reason why it goes a little slow, but I think it's mostly because I spent a little bit too much time not going for stuff. Oh god, I remember this gank. If I would have attack moved there, we would have killed him, but I didn't. If I sprouted him, we would have killed him, but I didn't. I was quite sad, man. And I had a really good sprout too. I was gonna die pretty much no matter what. Like, sprouted myself there wouldn't have done anything, but yeah, it was really unfortunate. I was like so sure that that the lone druid was gonna die. I just didn't even sprout. I was like, oh, he's dead. I'll just right click him. Like, I was so frustrated with myself. It's like one of those moments where I was like, oh god, am I kill stealing this? Am I kill stealing this? And I probably should have, because I could have gotten Dagon, but if I also would have either attack moved or just sprouted the guy, it was like guaranteed kill. And if we didn't have to chase him that far, it would have lowered our chances of getting initiated on by sanking and stuff.
Doing some great work. Forget about it.
Sprout was obviously a mistake, but it didn't matter. I didn't have TP up for like 50 seconds. I didn't have boots either, and that mistake is really big actually. Because keep in mind what I talked about snowballing. You should be able to get kills and never die. Well, I didn't get a kill there, and I also didn't. I also died. So delays my my Dagon. I was very close to Dagon. This is what I'm talking about, by the way. These creeps are scary as hell. I was like, okay, this isn't working. Glad that I wasted a bunch of camps. But again, that slows me down. Dying slows down my Dagon. All that stuff is a big deal. Decreasing my farm rate, delaying my Dagon, delaying the point where the 400 damage global nuke is really strong, which is early game. And my levels are still pretty low as well. I was considering ulting this, so I ultied bottom, see if my ulti could help out, and I ended up kill stealing with it. So that allows me to get my Dagon. I think I was going to wait like 5 seconds for a TP scroll now. That way I can TP somewhere and get out in case things hit the fan. And now I wish that I had a Dagon already instead of waiting for a TP. So while I'm waiting for my Dagon, I'll just sit here and jungle quick, and as soon as I get my Dagon, I'm going to look for a global TP. And Sark's such a good hero.
I'm over here.
Alright, got my Dagon. Hey, it popped up. That guy's dead. Storm looked pretty low. I was kind of like, go on Storm, go on Storm. This is kind of where Dagon starts being useful. You just kind of show up and you nuke people. It's great. So in a way, I didn't really kill steal there. I don't think that guy would have survived if... I think he would have survived if I didn't Dagon him there. So the Dagon actually pays off. If I had something like a Midas instead, it kind of requires you to attack, move a lot more, and do more tower pushing. But the Dagon actually lets me help me team fight better. I didn't talk about his ulti yet. The way that Wrath of Nature works is you cast it globally, and it hits a target, and it will bounce from target to target across the map at doing more and more damage with every bounce until it reaches a total of 16 targets. So this means that you don't want to cast it directly on your opponent, you want to cast it on a different part of the map. So when I wanted to hit a hero on the top lane, like Troll, and I figure that there's less than 16 targets on the map, I wanted to cast it at the absolute opposite point of the map so it'll bounce the most times and land for the most damage on the hero that I want to kill. So I cast it on the bot lane, it bounced on all these creeps here, then it bounced on all the creeps in the mid lane, and then it finally landed on troll top and got me the kill. I almost TP'd on that because I thought they might need my help, but turned out they did not, so... I'm going to now defend the tower a little bit. I opted for more levels to teleport over Nature's Call because I figured a lower cooldown with the Dagon is more important than jungling. If I had a Midas, maybe I should just max out Nature's Call if I was more concerned about pushing. But this is a little trick that you can do that makes you really safe. Like, I don't have boots yet, so I wanted to be really careful. So I ended up pulling the creeps past the tower using the Treants. Pretty standard stuff here. And I'm going to have to go back to base in a second because my mana is simply just not high enough. So I can also pick up some boots, which are pretty required. It's not worth maxing out Dagon. I think that's a mistake, unless you're Dami and you're crazy. He's done that before with me. Just plays like an insane Nature's Prophet, and he maxes Dagon, gets Dagon 8. It is kind of cool for the fact that it's global. Like, the 800 damage, or like the damage it does is seriously impressive. I played a little... Like, I was greedy to get this in the first place because picking it up can sometimes not work out. Like, if you get behind, for example, if you get behind on this build, on a Dagon build, and then you transition to the mid game, and your team isn't getting that many kills, and they aren't putting people below 300 HP, it'll do 400 or 300 HP after reduction. Like, if the creeps don't get below that HP gap, then your Dagon's not even going to kill anybody. Like, it's not going to kill somebody that has 1000 HP or has 800 HP, for example, unless you really focus on somebody. But they have a lot of heroes that are kind of squishy, that don't have a ton of escape. Like, even Storm, for example, it just like hits instantly, so it can actually help out. Lone Druid, it's okay against. We're looking to gank this guy as well. I used my ulti already, and there it hits for 400, but again, we're able just to focus the guy and shut him down. Dagon ends up paying off. So despite me things slowing down a little bit, if I'm paying attention and I combo this with my ulti, I did 275 with my ulti and I did 300 with my Dagon. So I basically have global 570 damage right now after resistance, which is really strong. And that's what makes it pretty good. It would have been like he would have died without me, almost guaranteed, but it really reduced a lot of the chance factor in it. So pick up treads. What was I going to mention next? Oh yeah, don't spam your ulti, basically. You want to keep your ulti up for ganks like that. You do not want to end up saving it for just simple... I think he's going to die from that. Wait, and the axe ultied way too early. You do not want to use your ulti to just farm the whole time. It's not worth it. I'll talk about that more after this pause here. So we were able to kill a Sand King. Okay, if you use your ulti to just spam it every 90 seconds, it really hurts your team. I tried switch there, by the way, got me about like 50 mana. If you cast your ulti every time it's off cooldown, it's going to accomplish a couple things, and hurt you in a lot of ways more than that. Number one, it pushes all the lanes. Again, this hits every single creep in that is visible with a nuke. It will give me those last hits. There's a chance that I'll last hit my carries, like... That's going to push this wave up, so it makes it less safe for Phantom Lancer to farm. But most importantly, when the ganks actually happen, the damage isn't there. Like, the burst damage is really what you need it for in teamfights and stuff, and one of the things that makes Nature's Prophet pretty good in the early game is that you can be there globally, and that ulti helps with that as well. If I can't combo that with my Dagon, it hurts me a lot. If I use this to farm, sure, I get a ton of farm, but again, it pushes my lanes, it steals last hits from my carry. And that's going to put all the farm on me and push all the lanes out and make it not safe for my allies. I was considering TPing on this, but he looked pretty dead, so unfortunately. And then they go on him, I believe. I wasn't quite sure where they went, so back to jungling. So it's not really that good to spam your ulti, and in fact I completely don't recommend it. Going Midas into Aghanim Scepter and going for the quota build, it's really mean to your allies, honestly. Like, yeah, it's fun and all to get insane GPM on Nature's Prophet because it's pretty safe and stuff, but it's honestly like a really, really bad way to play Nature's Prophet because it's just going to take all the money away from your allies. You're going to get a lot of farm, but your allies won't have a lot of farm, and it pushes all the lanes out, and it just absolutely sucks, honestly. This is one of the few times that I felt like ulting because Blitz was dead on the Broodmother, so what I want to do is not only do a lot of damage to this wave, but I also wanted to counter push the mid lane. And if you look at what just happened, they moved forward trying to push, but then I completely shut that down. So I think that's one of the few cases where using your ulti outside of a team fight is useful, is if you want to stop a push and you're not tactically ready to fight. Now it's going to hurt me for 70 seconds. I won't be able to ult when Will comes back up, but I think it was the right choice. Now I've got 4 kills, I have 66 last hits, and let's take a look at my GPM. I am sitting a little bit higher in the pack, 314. It's not too bad considering that I don't have a Midas. Did I mention Shadowblade is really popular in Nature's Prophet? It is. Shadowblade Nature's Prophet is super popular right now. It allows you to counter push a lot better. I'm going more of a ganking Nature's Prophet build, and I still don't think this is the best build, but I kind of wanted to make it work and have fun with it. So I actually enjoyed playing this build a lot, but I feel like it's probably just useful because of the draft, like the heroes that I'm playing against. I feel like it's one of those things. Some heroes work a lot better. Some heroes and builds work a lot better against different drafts, basically, and sometimes I don't completely understand all the intricacies. Like, for example, Storm is weak early to nuke damage is one thing you could argue. Like, maybe it's because we already have a lot of nukes and gankers on our team that this build works out. Like, LD can get them low Slark, and I can show up and Dagon on them to burst them down even farther. It's little stuff like that that make a big difference. You can also Ancient really well with Nature's Prophet. I recommend the Treads pickup, especially on Dagon. Dagon gives you 13, wow, actually a lot of damage. Gives you 16 int, I believe, and it gives you 9 damage. So it's actually a moderately good damage item at 25. I was really considering going on this. I almost went on that. I could have killed him, I think. I should have cancelled that as well. I could have killed the Sand King, but I would have maybe died, because the troll would have went on me. Not so sure if I should have. I think I could have, looking at it now, but it felt scary before. So instead we're going to try to take the tower. It's another reason that Nature's Prophet is really good, because his push ability is really fantastic.
Bad dudes, middle tower, everyone, go, now! Dire's middle tower is under attack.
So once they all show up, it's not really worth us staying. You still have to be pretty careful about choosing to fight, basically. So I was kind of looking for Dagon targets or areas where I can initiate, but against the Storm Spirit I have to be so careful. So yeah, Dagon actually gives you pretty good damage, so I think Treads is absolutely necessary. Almost all people go Treads on Nature's Prophet. I've seen some phase builds which I actually kind of like a lot because it helps you gank a lot. It's plus 24 damage, which is not to be scoffed at. Ooh, you so almost died there. Looking for a gank. Oh shit, there's a bottle. I see the bottle now. I didn't know that bottle was there. I had no idea there was a bottle. That's so scary. Look, the courier is going to pick it up now. I could have stole his bottle. Damn.
Dire's top tower
that's
is
a
under
downer.
attack.
Didn't do it though.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Yeah, my GPM is really not that high. It's okay, but it's not that fantastic. Wait, that's not what I wanted. I want you. Okay. So I picked up an Ultimate Orb next because I wanted to scale a little bit better in the late game. And a really good way to do this is Sheepstick. Pretty much. Sheepstick, fantastic item, Nature's Prophet. It used to be like the first major item picked up by Nature's Prophet, but usually it's the item after Shadowblade now. Pro players will almost always go Shadowblade into Sheep. A lot of pub players really favor the DPS build, where you just get straight damage items. That'll be things like Desolator and Crit with Shadowblade, but I don't think those builds are nearly as good, and they don't help you team fight nearly as well either. Like, if you have a Sheepstick, you can team fight, and you can get solo kills. You don't do as much damage because Sheep only gives you 10% attack speed and 35 damage, but it's still a really fantastic item for damage. I opted to go for the Ultimate Orb first because I was feeling a little weak on HP. If I wanted to get more damage out of it, I could have gone on a Mystic Staff for plus 25 damage, but this is my choice, basically. Felt okay about this. I wish I would have summoned Treants there and taken the large camp, but I guess this one's up as well, so. Still looking for global TPs, if possible. If you do get Midas, by the way, you should always use it on the large jungle creeps instead of the small ones, at least in the early game, because Midas, not only does it give you a lot of gold, 190, it also gives you 2.5 times the experience, which means that, there's my ulti. See, now they're hugging him in case I TP and Dagon. It's kind of cute. If you use it on the large creeps, it's going to give you 2.5 times the EXP of the large creeps, and it levels you up a lot faster. And again, this is huge because it's more stat levels, because you'll be hitting 16 whatever faster. Every time you level up, you get more stats. Your skill points are going to be stronger. It just honestly is a pretty good payoff, and it's a large component why Midas is very good, especially on a lot of... There's some heroes that it becomes really effective on. Nature's Prophet, since his skills are kind of weak individually, other than Teleport. Teleport obviously has huge potential, and his ulti gives you a nuke, but... getting more skill points into your skills is a really big deal. Leveling him up fast can really help off. I'm kind of a low level this game because I don't have Midas. I've been around to help out, but my hero level is really not that impressive at all, just because I've been slowly jungling. So, but again, if I go Midas first, like, you can't go Midas into Dagon. That's just not effective. If you want to get Dagon, you have to skip Midas. If I went Midas first, I'd probably go Sheepstick or Shadowblade. I'd probably go Shadowblade, I guess. Maybe I'll try that some other game, but we already had kind of a lot of invis heroes that oftentimes doesn't sway me from choosing not to get a Lothar's, but it's pretty fun sometimes. I honestly just had a lot of fun with the Dagon build, and I wanted to try it out, so... They were able to get the gem, looks like. Was able to catch him as he was escaping. Just been kill stealing like crazy, man. I don't know why, it just felt like the perfect Dagon game. There were just like constantly people running away at low HP that I could Dagon. I should have bought a dust a long time ago, like seriously. Against a troll warlord that has a shadow blade and against a sand king, I literally could have carried like a global detection, but I never bought one, and I should have so long ago, because we could have been like, okay, gank the sand king, he's dead no matter what. Because I can just TP in and dust him, and he shouldn't be able to get away. Unless I like sprout and then he burrows out of it or something. But since there's 3 dead heroes, we can push high ground a bit. And I wanted to sprout the bear. This is kind of where I decided to make a slight deviation towards an item build. Most Nature's Prophets actually don't max out sprout until really late. They actually get stat points between 11 and 16 usually. I didn't want to do this personally because the sprout duration is actually really good late game. And against a typical team, like a typical pub team, they won't carry tangos in the late game, and they probably won't have a Quelling Blade either. And even if they do, they're not going to be as reactive to them. So what this basically means is that when you max out Sprout, it's in some ways can be like a 5-second disable, especially against some melee heroes. So if we look at Troll really fast here, he has a Shadow Blade, he has no way to get out of a Sprout. If we look at Lone Druid, he has no way to get out of a Sprout. And if we look at Axe, same goes. The only person that can escape from a Sprout is Sand King. So if I actually max this out early, and I cast Sprout on a guy and keep him outside of a team fight slightly, especially the melee heroes, because them being Sprouted means they're not by enemies, I can absolutely pull them out of a team fight. So Sprout actually does have really good late game implications, but the biggest place that I want to use this is on the bear. If I can cast this on the bear, and keep doing player damage to it every 3 seconds, the bear is not going to be able to escape. I remember the skink now. Oh yeah, I TP'd in, and I didn't have enough mana for Dagon. And I knew that wasn't going to kill him, but I did my best, because I was going to die anyway, so that was pretty dumb. I actually just got enough money for my Mystic Staff, so if I would have bought that first and not gone in crazy and stupid like, then we went to the last 2 heroes. So, again, making small mistakes, that's going to hurt my GPM. My GPM is still pretty high here. If I had Midas, it would be probably like 50 or 70 higher or something, but... like, I'm consistently doing nice things. We actually ended up getting a bot Rex out of this, because our carry was split pushing. We have like the most annoying split push team ever, by the way. PL, Caudal, Brood, and Nature's Prophet. Even Sark is really hard to kill. Like, a lot of our heroes are really hard to kill. We're not necessarily like a 5v5 team, and I wouldn't necessarily say they are either, but yeah, pretty easy for a Phantom Lancer to just go in the bot lane and win the game. At this point. He picked it. We don't know that guy, okay. We don't know that guy. Ooh, sick late game Vanguard pickup. I look AFK. Okay, so I'm pretty close to my Mystic Staff. I think I was one-handed on the phone or something like that, which is why I'm clicking on my items. I can't remember exactly. But maybe I was eating something? I think I was eating a Kit Kat. That's what I was doing. So back to the jungle. Gotta finish up my sheep stick. That's so hard to say. So many S's. So from here, my team's going to continue pressuring a bit. I want to keep my farm up, so jungling whatever possible. It's better that I don't take the lane, because I can jungle better than just about anybody else here, so me taking the jungle is always going to be a good thing. I need to start casting Nature's Attendants, like the Treants. I need to start casting on that large camp so that I can walk through when needed. Like even if I'm not ready to take that camp, I should be casting on that. That was a little dangerous for me to go by this actually because I knew I could see them on the map and I saw they were thinking about going. I'm going to ulti here to slow this down because I know it's getting a lot of opponents. I'm waiting for it. There's actually so many creeps that it never made it back to them, which is pretty funny.
Yo, good guys. Middle tower got owned. What you gonna do? Get mad or get even? Top tower gonna fall over soon.
Me TPing in here didn't really help that much. I was kind of trying to, but we did end up killing that guy. It was pretty funny. I should TP right now, I think. Oh yeah, I did. But then I get first entangle. It was pretty fun, guys. I was a little unlucky. On the bright side, again, we're counter pushing. Blitz is able to be taking a tower right now. Poor little spiders. Oh god, there's so many spiders. It's probably like 200 gold, something like that. Sanking can farm those so fast. Guy's got mad AoE. But I'm very close to sheep. If I had sheep there, I could have escaped for sure. I could have just hexed the Sanking and then TP'd immediately, and he wouldn't have been able, or I would have been able to get away. Yeah, Treants. Alright, so Sheepstick finished. It's a little late. I should have gotten this like 3 to 4 minutes earlier, I think. If I didn't die the 2 times, I bet I would have gotten it a bit earlier. Woohoo, Sheepstick. Alright, Sheepstick. Really good item. Gives me good int. Pretty much perma mana regen. I'm not going to need it for the rest of the game. I'm going to ulti here. Should be able to fight. Wish I was TPing a bit earlier. I don't like how defensive my TP was here. We were able to pick off the Sanking. I guess my TP was okay. I hope to get a double there. I maybe could have saved Slark if I went aggressive and I actually hexed a little faster, but played it kind of safe. Like, I'm doing much more of a cleanup role this game than a DPS one. Like, your right click's honestly pretty good on a Nature's Prophet, but I haven't really been leveraging that. I've kind of just been showing up as my teammates do most of the work and securing the deal. Maybe I'm filling that gap that my teammates don't have. I was trying to sprout over here for vision, and then I saw him. It's like waiting for this guy to throw a lance. He didn't throw a lance forever. I think he was just trying to kill steal or something. He was like an okay peel, but he didn't seem that confident. Would like not nuke a lot. So where do I go from this point? Late game Shadowblade's probably not worth it. I can get other int items. The game's pretty much over, so I'm gonna take a look at some of the shop things while we're waiting. Item possibilities, I can go MKB, I can go Daedalus, I can go... Probably, I could Divine Rapier if I want to. Mjolnir's a pretty good range damage item on him. If you want, you can get a Manta. It's not really recommended, but you can get out of things like Entangles, for example. Those are all pretty good choices. So like Orchid or Daedalus or MKB are probably the most common by far. I could also max out the Dagon if I really wanted to. I think I was trolling and I felt like going for a Veil, which isn't really the right choice. It does increase the damage of my Dagon, but my Dagon's only level 1. Ethereal Blade can be useful if you max out your Dagon because it increases your nuking power by a lot. It's actually pretty good. Ethereal Blade. So, Ethereal Blade, more Dagon levels, MKB for more damage, Daedalus for more damage. Lots of those things are great. Or even a late game Shadow Blade wouldn't be the worst thing in the world because I can counter push with it, but I wouldn't recommend it. So that's Nature's Prophet. I know I haven't made a Prophet game in a long time. I like doing Dagon. I haven't seen anybody else do a Dagon build in a pub game with Nature's Prophet in forever. So I don't necessarily recommend it, but I figured this is an okay game to show. Dagon is viable. It's just not the best. It just kind of, it's very bursty, it's kind of kill steely, it requires you to globally TP and help with ganks, and that did help me snowball a bit, but I'm a little unsure if this would have gone okay if my team wouldn't have done so well early. Like, my team did pretty well early, and I was able to secure kills because of it. If we got behind and they started team pushing, I'm sure I would have just sucked with a Dagon. Dagon would have done very little at that point, so it's probably not as safe a build as going Midas into Shadow Blade and counter pushing and split pushing and getting a sheep and then just being generally annoying and picking up kills. But this is just basics of Nature's Prophet. Again, I know I'm not very good at this hero, and I do want to get better at him. So maybe I'll make some more videos in the future. But that's it for Nature's Prophet. Sorry I didn't make a video yesterday. I was really busy. I had to drive somebody to the airport to finish up for the Eastern qualifiers, and then hung out with a friend for a while, and then it was pretty late and they started casting, so I wasn't able to record. But I played a bunch of games tomorrow, and I for sure have a couple replays to cast, maybe even a pub cast, so lots of video content for you guys this week, this weekend at least, and I should finish up catching up on some of the other things that I'm working on. So I'll see you guys later. Thanks for tuning in. Go follow me on Facebook or Twitter. I'll probably start streaming again over the weekend. I've got the maids coming right now pretty soon, so I won't be able to stream now, but hopefully later today. No promises on that, but I think that's it. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye. Alt tab. Goodbye.